Imagine a billionaire on a quiet Sunday offering you $10 million for every photo, message, and thought you've ever stored on your phone. No strings, no conditions, just the sweet, cold promise of a life free from rent, debt, and even that awkward apartment you're stuck in. It's the ultimate Reddit hypothetical. Would you give up your entire personal data for 10 million? That's the post that lit up the subreddit. The comments ranged from "hell yeah, I'm in" to "nah, that's the biggest scam I've ever seen." I skimmed through the thread, and it turned into a full-blown battle of moral philosophies and digital paranoia. First, there's the "I'd sell my data if it means I can finally pay my daughter's tuition." That reply was a tearful plea for a better future, arguing that no one would ever read those pictures if the money was put to good use. The next comment was a self-proclaimed data activist saying, "Your data is your identity. You can't even think about giving that up. That's a slap in the face to your own autonomy." Their comments sparked a heated debate about consent, personal freedom, and the commodification of our digital selves. A third voice chimed in. "I've already sold my data. The guy who runs that data broker's company just sent me a check." Their sarcasm revealed how many of us are already unwitting participants in the data economy, and how hard it is to even see the transaction. Then there was the "I'm in if you give me a second chance to review the terms." That person demanded transparency. They wanted to see exactly how the data would be used, whether it would be sold again, and how it would affect their future privacy. Their argument was a reminder that even the most generous offers need to respect user rights. Finally, a humorist posted, "I'd sell my data if the offer included a lifetime supply of pizza and a private island." That comment hit a perfect note of satire. People are laughing, but also clearly questioning whether a billion-dollar offer can truly compensate for the loss of personal privacy. The thread didn't resolve with a single answer. Instead, it became a mirror, reflecting our collective discomfort with the trade between privacy and prosperity. Whether you give up your data for $10 million or hold onto it for your own dignity, the Reddit community proved that the debate is far from settled. It's a reminder that every click, every photo, every private thought is a currency in an economy that's only just beginning to understand its own value. What if someone sat down with $100,000 in cash and a list of all the moments that made you, and offered you an absurd deal? Would you trade every memory you've ever had for 10 million? The thread began. The question was absurd, but the comments that followed made me wonder if anyone would even think about it. I could picture it. The money would be in a steel box. The memories would be in a digital vault. You'd walk away with a fat check and a life where every birthday, first kiss, and embarrassing school dance is erased. No regrets, no joys, no scars. A clean slate you could live on with no past. But would the 10 million be enough to make the price worth it? Some people hit the yes button and then got a string of, "I would do it for $1 million, but I'd want to see a lawyer first," and "I'm 30, no kids, but I'm not ready to lose everything." Others threw down memes and sarcasm.
"Sure, I'd forget the day I forgot my own name,"
a commenter typed, then laughed. "Why?"
"Do I have to choose? Do I have to have a new identity? I'll never be able to say, 'Remember the first time I saw the ocean.'"
A handful of responses were the most chilling. "I'd sell my memories if it meant I could buy a safe house and keep my family safe," one said. "You'd be a ghost, a shell of a person," another responded, with a link to a video about memory loss. There was a thread of philosophical debate. "Memories aren't what we are, they're just data," someone argued. "And we're all just a bunch of neurons firing." I read a comment from a dad. "I'd lose the memory of my son's first steps. I can't even imagine what it feels like to be a kid. I would keep the memories of how I used to be a kid." He swore he'd never touch a check that big. The real kicker came from a user named Philosopher Bob. "Think of the possibility of creating new memories. You'd have a clean slate. The world would offer you new stories, new pain, new love. Maybe the only price you'd pay is that the old you is gone." His reply had a philosophical spin that made the rest of the comments feel petty in comparison. I'm still stuck on the question, would I trade my entire past for $10 million? I'm not sure. I'm 35. I have a dog, a couch, a favorite shirt. I don't want to wake up one morning with no recollection of my first love or that time I got lost in the mall and cried for the first time. My memories are my scars, my triumphs, my love. They're who I am. $10 million? Would you sell your memories for $10 million? That's the burning question I dropped on a raw Ask Reddit last Thursday, and the comments that followed turned my laptop screen into a digital war zone. The premise was simple. I bought a new VR headset that could upload and delete memories with surgical precision. I'd been holding on to one memory for years, my first dog, a scrappy terrier named Milo, who chewed my favorite mug. The post read, "I've got a memory I don't want. If you could erase it, I'd pay you 10 million. Would you do it?" The tagline? "What's the most valuable thing you've ever owned? Mine is a memory." The replies came fast. The first to hit was a 27-year-old gamer from Seattle who said, "I'd trade mine for a lifelong gaming subscription and a new console. Memories are just data, right?" He laughed. A second comment from a retired school teacher countered, "My memories are the reason I taught. I'd keep them, but maybe if someone could pay me $1 million to create a new one, a memory of walking in the Alps, maybe that's worth it. Then, a cryptic post popped up from Slut in a Box, claiming, I had a memory of meeting the Queen. I'm willing to sell it for 85M. Does anyone want to be the next British monarch? The comment section exploded with jokes about royal lineages and lawsuits. Someone posted a gif of a throne and said, I'd sell mine for a year of being in the front row at a concert. But the most controversial was a thread from Crypto Nomad 44. He argued, imagine if the memory of your first heartbreak was the key to a new cryptocurrency. People would trade it like Bitcoin. 10M is a joke compared to the value of human emotion. He cited a study that emotional memory value can be measured in neurochemical release, and suggested we're on the brink of a memory economy. By midnight, the post was trending on Raw Ask Reddit, and the comments were a chaotic collage of personal stories, hypothetical trades, and philosophical musings about identity. One user, a self-declared memory hoarder, confessed that if someone offered $50 million to erase the pain of losing his sister, he'd take it. Just to stop feeling. So, would I sell my memory of Milo for $10 million? I laughed. I've never wanted to erase the smell of his fur, or the way he'd curl up on my lap at the end of a long day. The money would have been a lot, but that memory? That's priceless. The thread became a snapshot of how we trade feelings, how we attach value to the past, and how we're all just waiting for someone to pay enough to buy back the piece of us we left behind. I just stumbled on the most insane Reddit thread of the day, and I'm still shaking. A guy named EpicGamer666 posted this on Hypotheticals. Sal, would you sell your entire childhood bedroom to a 10-year-old billionaire for $10 million? Selling a childhood, an irreproducible, irreplaceable portion of your life, is a metaphysical act. How does one even value a memory? $10 million is probably a sham compared to the emotional cost. Lou, social butterflies. I'd say yes for a minute. Imagine the press, the Instagram reels. But the real question is, would I be happy when the billionaire opens my room in the future? I don't think I'd want to be a museum exhibit. Could I negotiate a 10% share of the museum's profits instead of the full $10 million? I could still hold on to the nostalgia and get a steady paycheck.
Sounds like a win-win.
The thread went off the rails as people debated what a value a childhood actually has. Some people were offering moral support, others were giving legal advice, and a few were just laughing at the absurdity. The most fascinating part? One user suggested they could sell the room, and put a clause that it would be rebuilt in the same shape every time the billionaire opens it. If you think this is just another over-the-top Reddit joke, think again. The post sparked a conversation that touched on memory, ownership, and what we're willing to trade for money, something that's definitely worth a minute of your time. He went on to explain that the billionaire was in town for a charity gala, and the room had literally been the site of every embarrassing moment in his life. His first crush, the time he spilled cereal in the middle of the night, the infamous prank on his dad. It was a ridiculous proposition, but the comments were even more mind-boggling. I'll pull out the most interesting ones for you. Sure. But only if I can get the closet and the secret snack drawer. And can we at least keep the old Nintendo? I'm a hardcore gamer. Oh, old school girl, and I'll find what's stiff. I'm 47. I'd be horrified. The room is where I practiced ballet for 10 years. How do you even start to say no to that? Plus, the billionaire's kid can't even read yet. Assuming the billionaire is a legitimate child, we need a child custody court filing before any sale can happen. This is a legal nightmares, folks. Twehy, confused, cousin. I just read this, and my brain is fried. The guy is basically trading his childhood for a pile of cash. Did I miss some tax codes or something that says you can sell your childhood? Do kids own property? Would you trade your biggest regret for 10 million? Reddit's Hypothetical had the newest thread that was buzzing like a neon sign in a blackout. Would you trade the memory of your last conversation with your mother, her laugh, her tears, her voice, for 10 million? Comment with your story. The comments were a mix of heartbreak and greed, but one reply stood out, mine. I'm a kid from a small town, a 25-year-old who spent every spare minute scouring old photo albums because I didn't have the words to let go. The memory in question was a simple phone call the night before she passed. She had been in the hospital. The phone was a tinny phone, but she laughed like a child. I heard her say, I love you, and I never heard it again. The post promised a gamble, a digital vault containing that exact audio, a single, unrepeatable recording. I could keep the memory or trade it for a cold, hard $10 million that could finally pay my mom's medical bills, start a scholarship in her name, or fund my dream of opening a community arts center. The temptation was deliciously simple, the dilemma brutal. I went to bed that night and dreamed of a vault, a glass box humming with the faint echo of a woman's laugh. The next morning, I checked the thread. No one had claimed it yet. The original poster. A man named Alex was skeptical, but he did something that made me stop scrolling. He posted a photo of his own mother, a tired smile, a small card taped to the back that read, "If you're reading this, I've decided to keep my memory." I watched the comment thread grow, saw people drop money, saw people hold on to their ghosts. I felt the weight of my own choice, whether to hoard a single precious echo or trade it for something tangible that could ripple out into the world. That day, I didn't sell the memory. I wrote a letter to my mom, taped it to a balloon, and let it float away in the wind. I used the $10 million I won in a different way. I built a community center where people can share their own stories, and I let my mom's laugh echo through the halls of a place that gives back. The choice was mine, but the real jackpot was the way I turned a single memory into an entire legacy.